Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com. Welcome to our weekly Top 5 Fridays ski industry news videos. Took a break last week. Bob's actually on vacation, just a short vacation today. Next week we'll be back to a full force Top 5 Fridays ski industry news video, including Bob. Next week will also mark the start of our 2022 comparison series. So the ski test is out. But we'll be starting comparison series next week, which I know you guys really enjoy. And we'll be starting with men's all-mountain skis around 90 millimeters underfoot, category that we often start with. So it should be really fun. Those are always really fun conversations for Bob and myself. So yeah, keep an eye out for that next week, as well as a Top 5 Fridays video. And with that said, I think we can get right into this week's news. First topic of the week, we have kind of some behind-the-scenes information from Ryan Cochran-Siegle's decision to move to head. A really cool article from skiracing.com has some cool information. U.S. ski team head coach Forrest Carey, he had a chance, kind of a chance conversation with the head race director about Ryan's kind of looming contract expiration with Rossignol. That conversation got all the way to former head CEO and current FIS president Johan Elias, who we've been talking about quite a bit. He actually asked for Ryan's phone number and called him, and the rest escalated from there, ultimately offering to line Ryan up with Hans Hammerli, who we've been talking about quite a bit as kind of the top ski technician in the world. So pretty cool to get some kind of behind-the-scenes look at how this all came to be. I also think it's really cool that just like the head CEO and now the current FIS president was kind of the guy that recruited him to head. I don't think that'll give him any advantage in FIS races, but just a little interesting piece of information there. And then we got a really cool quote from Lindsey Vonn about Heinz Hammerli. And I'll read the quote in full, and then I'll leave a link to the article, as we always do, if you want to read more about this. But to quote Lindsey Vonn, "Heinzie is the greatest technician of all time, in my opinion. He cares more about ski racing than any athlete, and he's looking for a champion that works as hard as he does, and I think he found that in Ryan Cochran-Siegle." So that's quite a compliment to both Heinz Hammerli and Ryan Cochran-Siegle. Obviously, Lindsey Vonn knows what she's talking about, so pretty cool to get that quote from Lindsey. And yeah, it's really exciting to kind of anticipate what's going to happen with this new partnership. Both Ryan and Head, as well as Ryan and Heinz. So yeah, excited for the upcoming ski season. And again, just big congratulations to Ryan Cochran-Siegle for his success and his new partnership with Head. Second topic of the week, we touched on this a couple weeks ago. Sierre at Tahoe is actually expected to open on time despite the Caldor wildfire actually hitting the resort. So when we last talked about it, it was threatening Tahoe resorts, and it did actually hit Sierre at Tahoe. Luckily, they've been able to do their kind of initial assessment already, and all significant lodges, structures, lifts, and other important infrastructure remain unharmed, so the fire didn't actually reach those things. And the resort is optimistic they'll be able to open on time. From everything that I've read, definitely took down some trees, so it'll probably change kind of the look of things there. And, it could, as they kind of dive into things more and get more hands-on, I wouldn't be surprised if they had to delay opening a little bit, but really good that we got this initial assessment and they think they'll be able to open on time. And in general, just awesome that they were able to contain that fire as well as they could. Could have been a lot worse. Obviously, hearts out to anybody that was affected by it, but I think we can all agree that it could have certainly been worse. Third topic of the week, the Colorado Supreme Court has declined to hear a lawsuit to limit the reach of lift ticket and rental waivers. So, as skiers, you're probably all familiar of this. When you get a lift ticket, when you get a season pass, whatever, you sign a bunch of paperwork Basically just a massive liability waiver saying that like you assume all risks when you're out there on the mountain. Now, specifically, the Supreme Court declined to hear a lawsuit attempting to hold ski resorts responsible for injuries to guests specifically caused by chairlifts. And the plaintiff was a woman who claimed there were negligent operators of a ski lift that allowed the chair to hit her, which actually broke her pelvis. From my understanding of the situation is the person in front of them like fell and missed the chair, so they kind of slowed down to give them time to get up, and not realizing that the chair behind them was coming around quickly, got hit unexpectedly by the chair and was injured, unfortunately. Now, the resort, in their defense, they argued that purchasing a lift ticket, the guest assumes all risks, and that's not, that's including chairlifts. It's not limited to just things that could happen while physically skiing down the mountain. It includes everything that could happen while you're there. It certainly sets a precedent going forward, and there was an interesting quote from one of the attorneys for the woman who was injured, who kind of said like, that's the only business that he can think of in the world that just is clear of all liability. So pretty interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if more comes out of this. It does feel like we've had more lawsuits like this in the past 5 years, I'd say, than before that. So I wouldn't be surprised if something changes, kind of holding ski areas more responsible. Of course, we talked about that blanket insurance that's trying to spot insurance. It's trying to kind of work its way into all resorts. That would certainly kind of at least provide a partial solution to this. So it'd be cool if that was able to happen. But certainly sets a precedent going forward. And just thought it was an interesting article in general. And then fourth topic of the week, this is a quick one. Bluebird Backcountry has announced 12 new trails. I don't know why I wrote down 4 because it's 12. But Bluebird Backcountry, we've talked about them quite a bit over the past year or so. They're North America's only 100% human-powered resort, and they will be adding 12 new trails split between kind of a tree area designed for all abilities and a more steeper, more extreme couloir section of the mountain. And to better access this new terrain as well as existing terrain, they've put in 4 new skin tracks. So really cool to see. I think there's more and more demand for stuff like this. It'll be interesting to see if more places like Bluebird Backcountry kind of pop up over the coming years. And then lastly, we have our edits of the week as usual. First up is the first episode of season 14 of Traveling Circus. I remember season 1 vividly. I'm pretty good friends with all those guys, so really awesome to see them continue the series for most of them now well into their 30s. LJ is probably still in his late 20s, I suppose. But yeah, really cool to see. Classic Traveling Circus episode, really funny. Obviously, they're more focused on kind of urban jibbing and stuff like that. So if that's not your thing, you might not find it super entertaining, but I would encourage anybody to watch it because they're pretty funny guys and do a really good job putting together little stories. Second edit of the week is the official trailer for Faction's team movie. This year it's called Roots. Faction always puts out a really good film. In fact, I would say the Faction team film has worked its way into being one of the best ski movies of the year every year. Faction has some unbelievable athletes, so excited to see that come out. Always has just really, really jaw-dropping skiing. There were some clips in the trailer that blew my mind. And then this is also pretty mind-blowing. Mountain bike edit. We've had a lot of mountain bike edits recently, but it's another Brandon Semenuk edit, which is always worth taking the time to watch, even if you're not a cyclist. This one's called Realm. Classic Brandon Semenuk style, just perfect precision on all his tricks, and the cinematography is really good too. So that's it for Top 5 Fridays this week. Hope you guys all have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next week with our first comparison series. Have a great weekend.